Who's talking first?
Hey,
Oh,
it's
okay.
me, because I have a story.
Oh,
You
yeah,
remember
right,
that
right, right.
time that Marcus asked me, like, I came back from lunch break, and Marcus asked me if I wanted to be in a Jurassic Park movie? Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Who would, oh, right, it was. Who would say no to that? Anyway.
Being filmed in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
cool.
not part of the Jurassic Park franchise, but it has Jurassic.
It has
in
dinosaurs, and I'm in.
And I don't know how much we can actually talk about that anymore because it might not be public knowledge.
Top secret. Okay.
Anyways,
Anyway.
stick with us. We'll be back.
Our mission is to promote strategies and policies which ensure improved health for all citizens of Nowata County.
There we go.
Hey guys, we're back. All right, so like Marcus said, we are here with Jenifer Harbour today, and she is our Nowata County, well, you're Nowata and Washington County 4-H educator, extension educator. Sorry,
Yes.
it's such a long title. Like I don't get all the words in there. I should, but anyway.
My question is, why in the world would Nowata Can have Jenifer Harbour representing 4-H on a podcast? What's the connection there, Trista?
Oh golly. Well, well,
We could save that for the wrap up.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just save it for the wrap up.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna do the really weird wrap up voice again.
Because that's what we do now.
Okay, so anyway, so we're here with Jenifer. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
And so you work for Nowata County Extension, and so you're in the Extension office. Can you give us a little bit of background about the county extension and what it's for and what it does and what 4-H is?
Okay. So, 4-H and the OSU Cooperative Extension Service is located in all 77 counties in Oklahoma. And what our goal in Extension is to bring that research-based information from the university out to the public. And so everything that we do, whether it be on the agriculture side, the family sciences side, or on the 4-H side, everything is research-based. So it's all proven through research and theory.
So you focus specifically on 4-H youth development.
Correct.
Okay, so how long have you been in Extension? And
I have been in Extension. So I started out in Wagner County, which is just southeast of Tulsa County, Coweta, Wagner, Porter. Everybody knows about Porter. And that's where I got my start with the 4-H program here in Oklahoma. And then I transferred up here a few years later to Washington County. And then probably a year after I was in Washington County, they added Nowata County 4-H to my plate of responsibilities.
Right. And there are, okay, so how many 4-H clubs do we have in Nowata County?
So in Nowata County, we have 3 clubs.
Okay.
They are all community-based clubs. So community-based clubs are where 4-H members have a wide variety of interests. There's not just one interest within the club. So we've got a South Coffeyville club that meets after school. We've got an Oklahoma Union Club that meets after school, and then Elm Bend, which is the Nowata area, and they meet after school as well.
Cool. All right. So with 4-H, like I was a 4-H member. Were you a 4-H member?
Yes, I was 4-H member in Indiana.
Marcus, were you?
I had to pick either 4-H, Cub Scouts, or baseball.
Oh.
And I picked baseball.
Oh, well.
I was always jealous
You
of the
missed
cool
out.
stuff
I love
that you guys
baseball,
got to
but
do.
you missed out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's either the hayfield or on a roof or one extracurricular activity.
Yeah. Well,
Carpentering. I guess I should explain that. I wasn't just on a roof for
Right.
no reason. I was on a roof with my with my family carpentering.
Well, you could have used that as a 4-H
Yeah,
project.
yeah,
That's
totally.
right. We do a
Come
woodworking
on.
I think
project
that's-
Yeah,
every
there you
summer.
That
go.
was probably my dad's
There you
reason. He was
go.
like, why go do that? I'll teach you here, and then I'll use you for child slave labor.
Oh my gosh. Well, so anyway, so 4-H now, like a lot of people, when they think of 4-H and the county fair, they think, oh, well, geez, my kid doesn't have a steer to show, or that we don't have pigs, or so we can't be involved. That's not true, is it?
No, a lot. So 4-H got its start with the livestock projects and those canning clubs over 100 years ago, and it has evolved with the communities, with the states and the counties to reach a bigger base of the population, where it's everything from livestock, companion animals, food science, all the way to shooting sports, woodworking, entomology,
Ooh, bugs. My
health
favorite.
and health and fitness is one of the project areas that has been growing here
Ding,
lately.
ding, ding, ding. Sorry.
Yeah. What about speech and like public speaking and stuff like that?
So we still offer all of those traditional contests as well as new contests. We do a fall and a spring public speaking contest that is open to any 4-H member in kindergarten through 12th grade. And in the public speaking contest, they can do a clover bud show and tell, a prepared speech, demonstrations are still there, PowerPoint presentations, illustrated presentations, and then the all popular extemporaneous where they draw their topic out of a hat.
I think I was a judge for speech contest one year, and I think I had the extemporaneous, and I had a little guy. I remember well, he would have been a brand new 4-H member because he'd just come out of Clover Buds, and that was the most interesting extemporaneous speech I'd ever heard. It was informative.
For I'm not particularly versed on this, so what is it like? Clover Buds, and then it builds up.
Yep.
So 4-H is open to any youth, anywhere. That in Oklahoma we start from kindergarten to 12th grade. So our Clover Bud program is kindergarten through 2nd grade. It's a non-competitive program. It kind of gets them interested and excited to become traditional 4-H members when they become 3rd graders. But we offer all of our contests to them. They have special categories like the Clover Bud Show and Tell. We let them do our food showdown. We let them do our cupcake wars, all of those events, but they have their own special class. And then when they become 3rd graders is when they can do everything that we offer in 4-H on the competitive side, the overnight trips, multi-county camps, the leadership conferences, and things like that.
Nice.
So what I'm hearing is 4-H is a great community support system and family support. I mean, golly, all the skills that these kiddos learn when they go through the 4-H program, it definitely enhances their abilities and skills for school, but for...
It's a life skills type of setting where we're giving them these hands-on activities where they're building these life skills that they can either use in their project areas or they can use in their classrooms or in their communities, and then they can even apply this into their adult lives when they become adults and out into the working world.
So I'm hearing like it's direct skills, but it's also very much transferable skills because I mean that's rural people typically can solve problems in a lot of different ways just because that's what they are faced with day in and day out, and that's the joke behind the we can fix anything with with baling wire and duct tape because sometimes we got to do that, but the transferable skills on top of the direct skills that they're teaching. One thing, I'm trying to remember, you had said something that I made a mental note, and I forget what it was, so I'm going to move on. I might think of it later. But with TSET, we have 3 specific things, and it's nutrition, physical activity, and tobacco cessation. And that's why I went ding, 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 because you said something about the physical activity. And I know you touched on just a couple of nutrition things, but can you tell us a little bit more about what you do in that realm of nutrition?
Sure. So the thing that you caught on to earlier, there is a project area that is called Health and Fitness. It is a project area that's recognized on the state level. And in that project area, it's a big umbrella. It falls under the fitness side of things. It falls under the food and nutrition side of things, the food science side of things. And then on a county level and even on a state and district level, we have some contests that relate to that healthy living. Ding,
ding, ding.
The food science or the
our program is Healthy Living Programs.
Yes.
Just got to make those connections. Sorry.
The food showdown is a really interesting contest that really caught fire when OSU Extension kind of rolled it out. It's kind of loosely based off the Food Network show Chopped.
Oh, really?
And so
That's cool.
That's fun.
They get into
That is really cool.
They get into teams of 2 to 3 within their age category, and they have 30 minutes to create a dish using the mystery items and the common pantry.
Oh, fun.
And in that 30 minutes, they also have to figure out what, on the mystery items, the cost per serving is, as well as come up with a presentation.
That's awesome.
And they have to be thinking about My Plate the whole time that they're coming up with their presentation. They need to be having everything represented in My Plate. And they have to use their knowledge in My Plate to, with the mystery items as well as the common pantry, to fit all the categories in My Plate. And we've found a way, even on the Cupcake Wars where they decorate cupcakes, to fit that into My Plate as well, because they have to present a presentation in that contest as well.
So, for the layperson out there, My Plate, as I understand it, is the replacement of the old food pyramid.
Correct.
And I'm saying that because we got some people that are old school and may need to be introduced to that. And so, can you do a quick deal on what My Plate is?
So My Plate, they took the pyramid and they turned it into a plate that you would look at when you're having dinner or lunch, and it kind of portions out your carbs, your vegetables, your fruit, your milk, your protein into sections on your plate.
So it's more of a visual representation of a practical application.
Yes.
That's where I was going. That was the thing I forgot earlier. So they went from like a pyramid conceptual thing that may not be easy for a young kid to necessarily conceptualize and understand. Not that they couldn't, but whenever they put it into, we have things here, they're like mats or whatever, table mats,
Okay.
and placemats. And they have the My Plate, so they can actually visualize, oh, this is the size proportion I should have of protein, and so on and so forth. So it's more practical. Then circling back to that thing I forgot, was the practical application you were talking about. You got this research-based, best practice, all this stuff, and then you're coming into the community going, hey, I got all this knowledge. Let's put this into actual practice to make some real change because we know that this works.
Right.
Well,
And that
isn't
was-
some of this stuff you can take into the schools?
Right.
Like if they ask you.
So teachers can call our office and we can bring them different types of programs. I offer for teachers to call us up. I have yoga for kids, and we just purchased a blender bike.
Nice.
Yay! I don't
So-
have to borrow it from Muskogee anymore.
No, just Washington County now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as far.
No, a lot closer. So, but we've got yoga for kids, and right now I offer that for as young as second grade. I am working with a teacher over in Dewey to see if I can go lower to kindergarten maybe with the yoga program. We also do a really cool program that we book out of campus. It's called Farm to You, which is a really cool program that is open from kindergarten through fifth grade, and they learn about Oklahoma agriculture, they learn about the farmer, they go to the farmer's market, and they use that My Plate to pick out food. And then from there, they enter the body and they start out in the mouth, and they learn about these food choices that they made at the farmer's market and what those food choices do to help or hurt our bodies. So they learn about the mouth, the stomach, the intestines, muscles,
Oh, wow.
bones, and the brain.
And it's like an actual. I've been through it.
it's
It's like an actual
tents and-
maze. It's like like you're going through all these
Nice.
tents and.
And because of COVID, they have
Yeah.
revamped it to become a virtual. So we're still being able to take that program to schools, but it's on a virtual level.
That's cool. If I remember right, to teach those different portions of the Farm to You, don't you use like local people? You see if local people can come in and talk about different sections.
Yeah, I utilize a lot of ag students here in Nowata. When we brought it
Perfect.
to Nowata Elementary, I'll call Mr. Harrington up and ask him if he's got any students that he can send over to help run the stations, because it's a script. All they have to do is read the script, and each station is about 6 minutes long, and they have a little activity, and you read the script, and then it runs like clockwork.
That's cool. That's so cool. So, I mean, we're still talking about the 4-H program. I mean, all of this is the 4-H program, and I think that that's just an awesome resource that we've always had in our community. It's just a lot of people just have that misconception that, oh, that's just for the rural kids, it's not for the town kids, when in reality, it's all life skills we all need to learn.
Yeah, and a lot of families have that perception of it's livestock based only.
Yeah.
And when we get to 8th grade, we've got to switch over to
Yep.
ag. But 4-H is open to any youth, and we're all about, whether we're Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, FFA, 4-H, we're all about youth development at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And developing those life skills that are going to help the young people of today be our future leaders when they become adults. And
Oh, that's a big concept I would love to get into. That may be part 2.
Isn't that's part of 4-H? Make the best better,
right.
right?
That
Yep.
is our motto.
Yep. Cool.
We're at 15?
Oh.
Man,
Wow.
Jennifer,
Time
I
flies
talk too
when you're
much.
having fun.
Well, is
I'm
there
try-
anything else that you just feel like if you walked away from here that you'd hate that you didn't get to talk about?
What are some like our clubs? Like, who do we need to get a hold of?
Okay.
If somebody's interested in signing their kiddo up.
So our club leaders are in South Coffeyville. We've got Stephen and then Kristen King. And then Oklahoma Union is Ashley Collier. And then Elm Bend is Shandy Hawk.
Okay.
But if you're needing just some general information about Oklahoma 4-H or Nowata County 4-H, contact the OSU Extension Office, and they either know how to find me or they can answer some of your general questions about how to enroll.
Right on.
Cool.
Well, did you have anything that you felt like, man,
sorry,
we just
I
got to
cut
put
you
that? No, I think we were on the same page. You were
Yeah.
asking, because that's where I was going with it, is how to contact and all that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking about some other stuff too.
If it's about anything, sometimes we joke around in Extension that we're the best kept secret, because we have such this big umbrella. If we don't know the answer, we sometimes know who to call for that answer. So call your local Extension office, regardless of what county you're in. So we either know where to go or we have the answer to help you.
That's
I feel
awesome.
like Nowata Can has kind of a similar identity
Yeah.
of, I mean, for a long time, well, still to this day, people think that we're
Yeah.
community action. And
I mean, we've partnered with Nowata County Extension on several projects. I mean, it just makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, we have the same goals. So now I remember when I was in 4-H. I mean, I did the horse project. Of course, I did. I showed my horses, but I also did art. I don't remember. I did drawing or whatever, but photography. I mean, all that stuff that you do at the county fair. But then we also did like our speech contest, our talent show. So like I played piano, like that kind of thing. Have we, like the kiddos in Nowata County, like what do a lot of the kids here do? What are their project focus?
So a lot of the project focus, because of that mindset, is still livestock based, but that's kind of what their project is. But we offer like summer day camps all summer long. I think last summer it was every Tuesday I offered some type of workshop, and those workshops range from woodworking, leather craft.
Cool.
We did some STEM. We did some leadership type things for Junior Roundup. We did some dish gardens where I utilized my ag agent in Washington County, and we made dish gardens for the free fair. I've done a ton of variety of day camps throughout the summer, just to kind of, and everybody leaves with something that they've made that they can enter at the free fair or they can use somehow. So I know, like on the woodworking, I've used Gage on that before, and we've made toolboxes to Christmas trees.
Yep. Yeah, they made Christmas trees this last year, or this
Yes.
summer.
Yeah,
it was
last
this summer.
summer.
Jeez, they all run together. Yeah, cool. I guess.
Well, so for the wrap up,
Okay, that was
I
weird.
do-
It's so weird. Like when it.
the wrap up. It was just a silly thing, and it just keeps going on, and it gets dumber and dumber each time.
Yeah.
But I'm more than happy to do it. So for it, last question: is there anything to do with any tobacco cessation, just other than just part of being in the nutrition and physical activity?
We do have a school enrichment program called Health Rocks, and it's a national curriculum that we have, and they've kind of revamped it to focus on tobacco, drugs, and and they've now included the vaping. So.
Awesome.
Perfect. Perfect. So there, if you've paid attention to Nowata Can's grants and stuff like that, TSET, you hear me rattle off every single time: nutrition, physical activity, and tobacco cessation. Clearly, the wrap up. If you were paying attention, you get the connection here.
Yeah.
And then you just said literally specifically drugs, and so I'll throw it over to Trista.
Yeah, well, with our Drug Free Communities grant and our Partnerships for Success, we focus on, of course, youth substance abuse and prevention, but we also focus on mental health and wellness and building families, building community. So just creating a safer environment to raise our families. And so obviously 4-H youth
Yeah.
development contributes to that humongously, and it's been in our county forever, and it's definitely available to everyone. So that's my wrap up.
I would say that not only the very direct like programming you have for the drugs and alcohol, and then all the tobacco, nutrition, and physical activity stuff, but also creating positive environments. If you talk to any old timer here, and I say that lovingly, I can't tell you how many conversations. I love talking to the older generation throughout my whole entire life. Even whenever I was little bitty growing up in the church and going out and doing homebound communion type stuff, talking to the people, because even at that time I was taught, listen to your elders because they'll teach you things that you don't have to make mistakes if you can listen to their wisdom. But they would, time and time again, they say, well, these young whippersnappers nowadays, they don't have anything to do, so that's why they're out in the pasture burning tires and doing this and this and this, and you can use your imagination. We grew up in Nowata, so we all know what we're talking about. But they would say, back in my day, we would be able to go downtown and park and turn the music up and drop the tailgate and set and do this and this and this, but they also had movie theaters, they had a bowling alley, they had things to do. And so what we're trying to recreate in some way is to do these community events, which we had a very successful deal that Trista came up with, the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. It's a community event, free, and we watched the movie out on the parking lot. We're planning on doing another thing, the Christmas thing. But then also, not just event type things, they can go on a regular basis. How many times do you guys meet a week? Say if a kid was to enroll in the program, they would get to meet.
So all of our 4-H clubs meet at least once a month. Since all of ours are kind of here in this county or after school club meetings, they take a break during that summer break period. But then that's kind of where our office kind of shifts gears, and we're providing summer day camps for them to attend and participate in.
So there's just more, what did we keep calling it? I use the mental health term, coming from a mental health background, of changing positive environments. And basically that goes into the old school mentality of these kids just need something to do to keep their hands busy, keep them out of trouble. And then you learn something along the way, and then that just fits all of our common goals. And it's just like a no-brainer. So guys, please, I know it's easy to say, hey, there's nothing for these kids to do in this town, let's take them to do something else in some other town, but we do have resources here that you wish you would consider. So consider that.
Well, and it's not just for kids. We
Right.
rely heavily on certified volunteers, whether they are club leaders, episodic volunteers, or volunteers that have a skill that they want to share with our program.
Heck yeah.
Like we
Kind of like a mentorish type thing?
Well, like they're kind of a one-time deal.
Oh, okay.
We normally offer a sewing workshop, and we partner up with the OHCE ladies.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
And we pair a kid and one of the OHCE members that we have for the day up at a sewing machine, and they make the garment that we're going to make for the day. So we rely heavily on volunteers. If it wasn't for our parent volunteers or that community support, the 4-H system wouldn't be able to thrive and grow like it does.
Right. I think also that's really smart, because a lot of times when we go out looking for volunteers, they're like, I'm good for one time, but I don't want to be committed for a long time. But you can come in once or twice a year and do your thing and share your craft or your skill or whatever, and go, hey, I did a nice thing for our community.
Yes, having those it's what we refer to it as a positive youth development partnership between youth and adults.
Fantastic.
So
Perfect.
Fantastic.
All right. I mean, that's all I have.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer's got so much more she could talk about. So,
I could come up with questions, but
I know,
for the
I
sake of time,
know.
I think we're probably, at 20 minutes now?
way more than that, probably.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
But yeah, call the extension office.
Yeah.
And
we would love to hear from you. We would love to answer your questions.
yep, awesome.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. Since our last podcast, we are still uploading to YouTube and sharing on Facebook. Our Facebook pages know what I can.
Yep.
And now that we're in, I think, episode 14, something
Yeah.
like that,
Word.
we are now on Podbean, if you've ever heard of it. Download the app at Play Store or whatever. We're on iTunes. We're on Apple Podcast. You can find us on Google Chrome and then some other Russian website.
Yeah, I don't know. The Russians are.
So I
Russians
upload
are
to
watching
Podbean. Podbean distributes it out to these
Yeah.
other podcasting apps and sites and stuff like that. The first day that we did that, we had 160 downloads of our 12 or 13 episodes. And then the next day, there was 12 episodes from Russia. So, I don't know what that's all about,
Maybe
but
they just want to see what we're doing in
we
Nowata
have a little
County.
world map that, like, you can look at all the statistics and analytics and everything.
It's kinda cool.
And it was, first day was all United States and Alaska. Oh, cool. We got some downloads from Alaska. I think there's a guy named Bruce Jordan from Nowata that maybe have done that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the next day it was like, there's Russia, 12 downloads. So hi, Vlad. I'm sure you're not
Shout
super
out.
interested in this, but we're glad you're watching.
Shout out. Cool.
That's all I've got.
Okay.
Jennifer,
Well,
thank you for being
yeah,
here.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
So much.
Yeah, appreciate
This
it.
was, this was a good one.
Glad
We'll
to
throw
share
it
our
to
story.
Misty.